Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, said that on the day of resurrection neither wealth nor sons will benefit anyone except those who appear before God with an unblemished heart. Surah Poets, verses 88 to 89. The heart of a believer differs from the heart of a hypocrite by sincerity, although outwardly these two human psychotypes cannot be distinguished. A hypocrite will pray and dress like a believer, but the difference is that the heart of the hypocrite is weak. But the hypocrite will always betray from time to time by his action and words. Surah Muhammad, verses 29 to 30. Did those whose hearts were afflicted with ailment believe that Allah wouldn't bring out their anger or envy? If we willed, we would show them to you, and then you would recognize them by their signs, but you will certainly recognize them by reservations. Allah knows about your deeds. But how does it happen that the first person believed, but then shocks people with his disgusting deeds and betrayal, although attributively he continues to bear the image of a believer? Problems begin when he is tempted from different sides at the time, when his heart is already infected with envy and anger. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, I don't leave a harder taste for men than attraction to a woman. It is good if a man finds a wife with a sincere believing heart, but the real trouble will be attraction and attachment to his wife, who will destroy him. The story with the first wife of Ismail, son of Ibrahim, teaches a lot when Ibrahim simply advised Ismail to change the threshold of his house, that is, his wife. Another temptation for the believer is the desire for material goods. When Jesus addressed the sons of Israel, he paid great attention to this issue and said very categorically, you cannot serve God and mammon. That is, a believer cannot equally love God and money in his heart. Outwardly, he can pray and even say that he believes in God and prays to him, but in fact, he worships his whims and his ego. Many Muslims think that it is enough to acknowledge God and you are already a believer, as if they are doing some kind of favor. God exists independently of our faith. We are required to understand spiritual meanings and change ourselves. Another problem of Muslims is the division according to the so-called Aqidah. But the apolitical nature of ordinary Muslims doesn't allow them to realize the fact that all Aqidah were compiled for political reasons for the political goals of certain states. Surah of the Believers, verses 52 to 56. Verily, your religion is one religion, and I am your Lord. Fear me. But they tore their religion apart, and each sect rejoices in what it has. Leave them in their ignorance or blindness or confusion until a certain time. Do they really think that we support them with wealth and sons because we are in a hurry to give them blessings? Oh no, however, they don't feel it. Each group considers itself victorious, but they are not embarrassed by the fact that they are not gaining any victory anywhere. Surah Al-Mulk, verses 44 to 45. Or they say, we are the victorious group. This group will be broken and they will turn back. It's not enough just to believe. Allah tests believers. However, He warned about everything in the Quran. What are the priorities, what to fear, what to strive for. But a person being careless in relation to all the warnings in the Quran becomes blind and deaf because of his dirty heart. Drop by drop, gradually, his heart hardens and no longer distinguishes between good and evil. For example, the Quran indicates the priority positions of parents. Surah Al-Kahf, Ayah 215. They ask you what they should spend. Say, any good that you distribute should go to the parents, close relatives, orphans, poor people, travelers. Whatever good you do, Allah knows about it. Surah Cattle, Ayah 151. Say, come and I will read what your Lord has forbidden you. Don't associate anyone with Him. Do good to your parents. No matter how much a believer reads the Quran and listens to lectures, but if he has a dirty heart, he will not understand what is important and what is secondary, where is evil and where is good. He will substitute concepts, distort meanings for himself, and wishful thinking. Surah Dawn, verses 15 to 20. When the Lord tests a person, showing him mercy and bestowing blessing on him, he says, "My Lord has honored me." When he tests him, limiting him in food, he says, "My Lord has humiliated me." Not at all. You yourself don't honor an orphan, don't encourage each other to feed the poor man, greedily devour the inheritance, and passionately love wealth. The believer is tempted by his own family. Surah Mutual Deprivation, Ayah 14. O you who have believed, indeed among you wives and your children, there are enemies for you, beware of them. Ibid, Ayah 15. Indeed, your property and your children are temptation. Allah has a great reward. The believer is tempted by life itself. Surah Iron, Ayah 20. Know that worldly life is just a game and fun, decoration and boasting between you and the pursuit of more wealth and more children. Surah the Family of Imran, Ayah 14. Love for the pleasures of women, sons, accumulated cantars of gold and silver, beautiful horses, cattle, and fields is embellished for people. This is a transitory pleasure for worldly life, but Allah has a better place to return. Surah Trophies, Ayah 28. Know that your property and your children are temptation, and that Allah has a great reward. There are many similar verses in the Quran warning believers about deception and temptation, but nothing happens without a reason. If a man fulfills his duties and a woman fulfills hers, then many problems can be avoided. If love for family is determined by money, then there is no benefit for such a person. But the most important thing is to keep your heart clean. Allah repeatedly says in the Quran that He doesn't lead the unjust and weak people in a straight path. Protect your heart from evil, envy, and greed. Often people look good but have wolf hearts. They may pretend to be knowledgeable, reliable, God-fearing, but they have rotten hearts. Allah wants us to love the hereafter as true and not succumb to the temptations of the earthly life. Surah the Forgiver, Ayah 39. O my people, worldly life is nothing but an object of use, and the last life is the abode abiding. Turn to the merciful with prayer. Remember that the grace of Allah has no boundaries.